Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. This topic is by request. This person said, can you do a video on the stress and anticipatory grief of caring for elderly parents? I thought it was a great topic because there are plenty of people in the mind-body space who are caring for parents, and that stress and the fear about what's going to happen with their folks is in some cases driving the symptoms. So I will absolutely do my best to cover this topic from an understanding. I've got a mom who's 88, went through a stroke 2 years ago. So it's gorgeous out. Stress and anticipatory grief of caring for an elderly parent. So, in my case, mom had a stroke 2 years ago, and that required me to kind of slow down and actually was one of the turning points on why I stopped the one-on-one coaching and went to a group format. But what I found was spending a lot of time with her the first 10 days when she was in the hospital, spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day there. My back pain and sciatica came back. Not in a huge way. It wasn't like, 8 out of 10 or anything like that, but it came back. Maybe it was a 4 or 5. And so it was very obvious that my brain was sensing danger as a result of what mom was going through, watching her struggle as she's getting through the first days of her stroke recovery, and seeing her struggle and sitting at those, chairs bedside with her and advocating for her care with the doctors and the nurses, making sure she was getting what she needed, trying to, calm her fears and worries and get her as relaxed as possible and trusting that she was going to get better. I had back pain, sciatica. In that instance, since I got better, that was the longest period of time that I had back pain and sciatica since my recovery, 14 or so years ago. It lasted for about 10 days. But I knew what it was. I knew the cause. I dealt with the stress. I didn't jump ahead. I'm pretty good about not spending a lot of time worrying about something that's not happening. I wasn't freaking out about, oh no, mom's going to die, right? My biggest priority was her, helping her with her care, being company for her, being a calming presence for her. And the fact that my back was hurting did not really bother me mentally or emotionally. It was annoying. It hurt. But mentally and emotionally, I gave it zero fear, zero attention, little significance at all, because I knew what it was and I knew it would go away, and I knew why it was there. So I didn't have to sweat it. I didn't have to worry about it. So, anticipatory grief. I know it's really tough for some people, and even myself. Mom's 88. I know at some point she's going to pass. But I do my best to enjoy her presence now and make it the best we can. I go visit her 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a month. Doesn't seem like a lot, but being that she's an hour away, it's tough to get there more often. But my goal isn't there to be overly concerned and get into a sad situation by seeing her in a wheelchair. My goal when I'm there is to enjoy myself with her, get us both laughing, and we enjoy ourselves. We enjoy each other. And I could easily get kind of drawn into some of her assisted living facility concerns and drama that she deals with on a daily basis with some of the practitioners and the staff and some of the other people. And I focus on gratitude and whatever presence I've got. In other words, whatever opportunity I've got to be with her, I view that as a gift. A long time ago, my mom, about a month after her stroke, was saying, I feel so guilty, you kids, me, my sister, my brother, I feel so guilty that you kids have to be here with me and spend time with me. She's like, you have lives to live. And I told her point blank, Mom, I don't have to spend time with you. I get to spend time with you. I said, this stroke could have taken you out. What we have now, bonus. This is extra time. And I'm blessed to get to spend that extra time with her. Is it always fun? No. Going through the stroke rehab, in the rehabilitation and the respite care, there was a lot of times where it was a drag. But you know what? I made the best of it. Tried to keep her laughing. Tried to keep her upbeat. When there was challenges, I'd look for solutions with her. I have also been managing a lot of her finances from the sale of her house, and so it can be a drag, and it can be stressful. But I just view the gratitude that I get extra time with her, even though I got to deal with some stuff. And I think that can be useful for all of us, any of us. So the anticipatory grief, I don't spend any time there, because me grieving in advance now won't keep her alive any longer. And I certainly don't want to do that in her presence, because then I'm missing out on an opportunity to find some laughter and joy with her, reminisce a little bit. Right? So the anticipatory grief, at least personally, I don't spend a lot of time on it. Even when I'm not with her, I don't spend a lot of time with it. I know it's coming at some point, and I know thinking about it and grieving in advance won't stop it from happening or keep her alive longer. So I just choose to say I'll deal with it then. And I'm sure when it eventually happens, there will be a lot of grief. But I don't need to grieve in advance of that. And so ailing and aging parents can be difficult, and sometimes they can be difficult. I recognize that completely. But I think from my perspective, I count my blessings that I still have the opportunity to spend time with her and let her know how important she was. So, different scenario with my dad. He was remarried with his new wife, hundreds of miles away. Did not get to spend that much time with him. But I also did not have anticipatory grief, knowing he was failing and aging. So, I don't know if this is helpful. I'm just sharing my experience. Why grieve in advance for something that you haven't lost yet? Live in the present. Enjoy the present. The present is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So enjoy what you can. Yeah, it can be annoying. Yeah, it can be stressful. The stress, again, gratitude for having them still in our lives, I think will offset the stress that we may feel sometimes. And, when we're not doing the caretaking for our elderly parents, we can offset the stress with some self-care. Get outside, smile, take a walk, do what you can to care for yourself, to treat yourself well. So I hope that helps. Just sharing my perspective. I'm not saying everybody will want to take on my approach or is capable of doing that, depending. Some of our elderly parents have dementia and become very, very difficult. They're angry with their situation. They can be belligerent and difficult. And if you had a really tough time with your parent growing up, sometimes it's really hard. And it builds resentment that I can't believe I've got to take care of this person who was so difficult through much of my life. I get it. And I don't really have a perfect answer for that. But I kind of look at it and go, I'm not making excuses for any difficult parent. But they were the parent that they were capable of being, And that may have had something to do with how they were raised by their difficult parents. And so, maybe we can cut them a break and do our best to make whatever time we've got left with them better. And don't wait for them to do it. You show up in a way that will bring a little bit of joy and laughter. They'll come along for the ride, or they won't. But at least you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm doing what I can. I'm a good son. I'm a good daughter. And I'm blessed that I still get time. Anyway, that's what I've got. Love you folks. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.